Okay, well, welcome everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started. And if some more people join us, And I ask you to put your Zoom into speaker view in just a moment. But for now, if you're in gallery view, take a look at all the folks who have joined us. Know that the people that we don't see right now who have their cameras off, and that's just fine, that we also feel you in this space. And we are so delighted that you are here tonight. I'm Reverend Sarah Bowen. I'm an interfaith, interspiritual, and interspecies minister and an alumni and faculty member here at One Spirit Interfaith Seminary. And I'm delighted to be kicking off the gathering tonight. Tonight is being brought to you by a new spiritual community we are so excited about called the Compassion Consortium. And so I'm joined by 3 other members of that consortium that I want to introduce you to as we're getting started tonight. First, William Melton, who is why we are here tonight. The Compassion Consortium is his ministerial call. After decades as an international business and technology lawyer that included living in 7 countries, working in more than 30 other countries, he decided to shift gears, ditch his lawyer robe, and pursue a clerical collar. He is interested in being dedicated to healing the suffering of animals, the environment, and the human heart, and he started this organization. He will become an interfaith minister in this year's class of 2021. The next person I want to introduce, and I realize you're probably not seeing them on screen right now, so this is a little bit of a teaser for when you see them later, is Reverend Erica Allison. Erica is an interfaith minister, an inspirational speaker who helps the queer community and some really cool straight people to find spiritual liberation, live joyful, authentic lives. She's the author of Gay the Pray Away, Healing Your Life, Love, and Relationships from the Harms of LGBT Conversion Therapy. It is an excellent book, and it went to Amazon bestseller status in 4 categories on its recent release. Erica's mission is to empower the queer community and other marginalized groups to guide humanity towards a more awakened path forward. And her spiritual practice is enthusiasm. Finally, we are joined by Victoria Moran, international best-selling author of Creating a Charmed Life and a dozen other wonderful books on compassionate eating and living. Victoria is the creator and director of the Main Street Vegan Academy. She's been featured on Oprah and Today and Good Morning America and All Things Considered, and was the lead producer for an amazing documentary called A Prayer for Compassion. It introduces people to the vegan lifestyle, people of faith. She lives in New York City with her husband, William Melton. Wait, I know that guy. Weren't we just talking about that guy? William and Victoria live together. Yes, they're married. That's right. And they also have in their home a rescue dog named Forbes and a rescue pigeon who we might occasionally see. I don't know. I don't know if Thunder's making an appearance tonight. So we gathered together to form the Compassion Consortium, inspired by our desire to have a truly inclusive spiritual community that goes beyond human superiority, human exceptionalism, to consider the needs of the many, many, many species that we share this planet with. We also wanted to create a community that was welcoming and affirming, and that serves the needs of people who advocate for inclusive spirituality. Vegans, vegetarians, animal advocates, animal activists, earth warriors, all of those folks. People who often feel a tension in their own spiritual communities when they try to advocate for other species. So in short, the Compassion Consortium says that compassion is the heart of everything we do, including tonight's gathering and our upcoming monthly Sunday services, which we hope some of you will join us at. We'll share the links later. The first one is April 25th from 4 to 5:30 Eastern. And we'll put that link in the chat towards the end of the evening. So about tonight, we'll be sharing music. We're going to have some folk and then some rave. That's like a Tao thing, I think, yin yang, a little folk, a little rave. We're going to have a meditative reflection that's interspecies. We're going to have a conversation with each other. Victoria's going to have a conversation with a rooster. So excited about this. And the rooster's human, Camille, who's also really, really cool. And so I also, as we get started, want to urge you to sink into tonight and this idea of interspecies spirituality. And if you aren't already using interspecies spirituality in your own spiritual community, we urge you to. And so I'm going to wrap up my preamble here with just a couple tips. So David, if you can bring that file up for me. And we'll go ahead and also post this in the chat for you all. So what is interspecies inclusivity? What it means we do is we educate ourselves on the issues facing animals. We understand what's going on. What are their challenges? How can we help? What do we need to know? We include animal welfare within our spiritual community concerns. We offer animal inclusive liturgies, which acknowledge the capacity for animal relationships with God by whatever name you use, right? And animal spirituality. And that is based on our experiences of animals, plus what we read in sacred texts, and it's backed by compelling scientific studies about animal spirituality. We acknowledge the intersectionality of animal issues with other calls for social justice like food insecurity and climate change and what is going on with planet and marginalized communities. We lead from within and by example through the choices that we make every day, making them ones that promote compassion to all sentient beings. We educate kids in ways that respect and revere other species. And we normalize plant-based defaults at community gatherings so that everyone can be nourished. And finally, we teach and encourage individual spiritual practices that increase compassion towards the broadest possible circle of others. So I want you to take a moment, take a look at that list, check in with your heart, check in with your mind, check in with your body and how it feels to hear some of these ideas. If they sound like something that you're called to, if they sound like something where you're like, I want to know a little more about that, I'm going to urge you to sign up for the email list at compassionconsortium.org, and we'll put the link in later, because we'll be releasing essays over the coming months on all of these topics and all sorts of interesting other ones so that you can figure out specific actions you might like to take to get to that broadest circle of others. Okay, David, we can take slide down. And so that's my preamble. I'm so glad you're all here. I'm so glad to be part of this amazing new community that's forming. This is a secret preview tonight for all of our friends at One Spirit. I'm so grateful, Victoria and Erica and William, for having this awesome idea of starting a church-ish for animals and people who love them. So now I'm going to hand it over to Victoria.
Hey, everybody. Hi. It isn't every every evening that I get together and get to talk to a rooster. And Sarah, I must apologize because I seem to be on the wrong page here. I thought I was going to be talking after we had some music.
Oh,
So
you are.
help me out.
You're absolutely right. I was so excited about the interview with the rooster. I just blew right through the music. And Erica, what do we do at One Spirit? How do we start everything that we do here?
Yeah, you can see where our priorities are with this group. We're ready to get right to the rooster. But first, because this is One Spirit, we can't start without a piece of music. So tonight's piece of music is from Daniel Redwood, and the title is Plant the Seeds.
I want to live in a country where the rivers run clean through sunlit valleys and rolling fields of green. I want to live in a land where healing breezes blow through highlands and lowlands. Everywhere you go, I want to live in a world where no one lives in fear of violence or hunger, and let the time draw near when we end the war on animals and the war on on Mother Earth, nurture deep within our hearts a vision of rebirth. I believe we're gonna see that world one day. I believe, yes I do. You gotta plant the seeds, keep the faith, give it time to grow. Grow in me, grow in you. I want to live in a land where 10 million gardens thrive, in cities, towns, and villages across the countryside, where the plants of a fruitful harvest are all the food we need, so cows and pigs and birds and fish can live forever free. I want to live in a world where water, earth, and air are protected and defended by people everywhere, and where 1,000 generations can follow when we're gone, in a world still ripe with promise, with a dream to carry on. I believe we're gonna see that world one day. Oh, I believe, yes I do. We gotta plant the seeds, keep the faith, give it time to grow. Grow in me, grow in you, so the dream comes true.
All right, Victoria, over to you now.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I love Daniel Redwood's music, and we are so fortunate that this evening he is actually with us, as long with his equally talented wife, Beth Redwood, who's a wonderful, wonderful photographer, and they're both very dedicated to the cause of all species. So welcome, Beth and Daniel from Oregon. And now from Ohio, we are crossing the country. It is my pleasure to welcome our special guest, Camille Lacotte. She is the creator of Kids for Positive Change, and co-CEO there is Bree the rooster, whom you see. Camille is also co-education director for the Wild Bird Fund in New York City. She volunteered for the Georgia South Sea Turtle Rescue Team, and she studied endangered orangutans in Borneo. Welcome, Camille and Bree.
Thank you so much, Victoria, and hello, everyone. We are delighted to be with you this evening.
So, in your work with children, I know that there's a tagline that comes from Bree. What is that?
Bree's message is to be kind, and be kind to yourself, be kind to others, be kind to all animals, and be kind to the planet.
Beautiful. Now, I think we probably all know, or maybe we've actually been, someone who gave up a life and a location and went off in search of romance or a dream or a guru. Well, you did that in order to have a life with a rooster. Tell us about that.
Did, Victoria. So it was back in the spring of 2017. I was living in New York City full time in Brooklyn. Bree showed up at the Wild Bird Fund as a tiny chick. He was lost on a Brooklyn street, and someone rescued him, brought him into Wild Bird Fund. and I decided to foster him, never thinking that he would become part of my life and part of my family. It's very, very difficult to place roosters at animal sanctuaries because sanctuaries are inundated with roosters. Unfortunately, many are abandoned and unwanted. And about 4 months in, when Bree crowed, my roommate called me up. She said, your chicken just crowed. And I knew, I sat with Bree that night and I thought, well, I'm either going to stay in New York City and just give him back to Wild Bird Fund. That's right. What did I do? Or I'm going to find a place where he and I can live together. And so I chose the latter and never looked back. It's been quite an adventure.
I'm sure it has. So, what role does spirituality play in your relationship with Bree and your work together?
Well, Bree really grounds me. My work with Kids for Positive Change is so fulfilling in so many ways. I teach many environmental programs. We have a program about veganism and plant-based diets. But as we all know, and I think we all can relate here, looking at the world's problems sometimes can really get you down. And Bree has a very keen sense when I'm going too far, when I've rounded the bend, so to speak, and I'm feeling sad. And he will actually perch on the back of my chair and he'll peck my shoulder like, hey, mom, it's time to take a break. It's time for a cuddle. It's time to ground again and into why you're doing this. And, you don't have to save the world. You're just going to be a part of that. So it's been an amazing spiritual union because when I become overwhelmed, he takes me back to the core of why I'm doing this. And that's to educate people with love and grace and to spread compassion.
So, what's he like? Just tell us about his personality.
Well, he loves Zoom calls. He loves to be around children. Bree is very much like any other companion animal that might be normal, quote unquote, to see in a house: a dog, a cat, a rabbit. I first recognized that when I was actually still living in New York. I came home after a long day at the Wild Bird Fund, and this was one of the first times I'd ever left Bree alone. Yeah. And I opened the door and he came running at me just like a companion dog or maybe a cat would. So on a day-to-day basis, Bree is up bright and early. I never need to set an alarm clock again. 4:35. He's my alarm clock. He gets up. I do have some chicken knickers on him. I'll show everybody because he is in the house. He is a house rooster. He sleeps in his room, and he'll have coffee with me in the morning and answer some emails with me. And then, of course, if it's a nice day, he'll go outside. And again, he calls me outside. I'm working on my computer. The sun is shining, and I can hear Bree crowing like, "Come on, mom, let's walk around in the grass. Let's watch the birds." And he does get grouchy, pretty much when he's tired or when he's hungry. But he's just a joy to be with. And I think one of the most remarkable things about having Bree in my life is how he spreads his message so effortlessly and to people that don't even know it really. So many times the mailman will come to the door and he's stressed out, and Bree will come running up to him, and Bree will let the mailman pick him up, or a child will be introduced to Bree, and he knows, like, he will be very, very soft and gentle with that person. A friend before COVID was visiting me, and she was having a really tough time, and Bree just settled down and just walked with her across the yard and then settled in her lap. So many things, Victoria, that I could share with Bree, but those are some of the highlights.
Wow. Twice since you've been speaking, when you alluded to things that would be considered a negative memory for him, he made this known. And I've actually noticed that with the pigeon. We were doing a class here, and the wonderful vegan fashion designer Joshua Catcher was talking about the way that the passenger pigeons went extinct because of the desire that humans had for their feathers. And Thunder had just been quiet, not paying any attention to anything. But when he heard that, or evidently saw those images, he just went crazy, making lots of noise, like, we are not going to have any extinct pigeons on my watch.
Yeah, I definitely think there's that sense, there's that heart sense about Brie with pigeons, with really all animals. If we really allow ourselves to open up and really listen to them and telepathically communicate with them, I think we can learn so much.
Ah, so we're here to launch the Compassion Consortium, and your life seems to be built on compassion. What does it mean to you?
It simply means to live an authentic life, to lead by a compassionate example, and to also understand, which sometimes, to be honest, Victoria, it was hard for me to do it first, to understand that all people aren't where I am right now, that we are all growing and learning at a different rate. So to be compassionate towards that person that unfortunately might see Brie as, a hot wing or a chicken leg. And maybe even that person, I have had it happen to me, make remarks when they meet Brie about that. And for me to take a breath and know, you know what, that person's heart is just not open to what I'm open to right now. And that's okay, because that's where they are. And inevitably, if Brie's with me and that person holds Brie, you can instantly start to see this shift. So really just having compassion, for really others, and hopefully helping them grow.
Oh, that's beautiful. So I have heard you call Bree your spiritual partner. So talk about the partnership. What does that mean?
Well, I think with Bree, he he just relaxes and opens my mind. And when I feel like I'm in the boat alone, he's there with me, whether he's outside and he's not physically with me, or he's here doing a program or an event with me. I really feel like he is just one of the many partners I have that just happened to have feathers or fur instead of human skin. I shared with you yesterday when we were talking that my spirit guides, since I was a little girl, tend to be animals. And through different walks and paths in my life, those animals have come in either through dreams or physically in my yard and brought me messages. And so I think Bree, being my partner, he's constantly reminding me of certain messages, to breathe strong, to breathe kind, to breathe grateful. And I don't think it's any coincidence. I did not name Bree. Bree was named when he was brought into Wild Bird Fund, but I don't think there's a coincidence that he was named Bree, because it goes so beautifully with being conscious. So, and I've used it. I use it with everything.
What a wonderful collaboration you are, and doing so much great work in the world. Thank you, Bree, for staying up late. Thanks, Camille, for being part of this evening. And we will turn it over to Erica.
Thank you so much, Victoria. Thank you, everyone. So nice to be here.
Thank you, Bree. Thank you, everyone. I'd like to now take us deep into a guided meditation and journey. So if you can just find a spot where you feel comfortable, we're going to take a little compassion walk for a moment. So if you're comfortable closing your eyes, I invite you to do so. If not, just please get into a comfortable place where you can go within, whatever allows you to go within. And I'll just invite you to take a breath. Begin to feel yourself in your body. And in your mind's eye, we're going to go for a walk. So first, imagine yourself outside. We're going to take a walk. We're outside, the sun is shining. There's a nice dirt path in front of us. A stream calmly rolling to the left of us. And just imagine yourself walking down this dirt path. See if you can feel the sun shining on your skin, warming your skin. Take in a breath of that fresh air. Feel the earth under your feet as you take a step. And I'll just invite you now to look up ahead on your right. And you're going to notice a gate and a fence, a wood fence up ahead. As we near this fence, as we approach, it looks from a distance like it's a farm. And you even hear some farm animal sounds in the distance. But as you near this property, this place, you notice a sign over the top of the entrance that says Animal Sanctuary, Farm Animal Sanctuary. And a small sign on your left, right above the gate entrance, that says, Animals are friends, where they may live in peace. So curiously, you decide to walk inside. The gate is open for you. It's definitely warm and inviting. So you take a step within. And as you walk in, you begin to notice animals around. You see cows, you see pigs, chickens. You begin to just wander a bit. You notice some sheep in the distance. And something feels a little different inside. You begin to notice these animals. They're doing things you've never really seen or expected animals to do before. The cow out in the pasture, it doesn't have that glazed look in its eye like you often see when you drive past a farm on the road. It's vibrant, and you even watch it leap for joy as it's running around the pasture. And you see pigs to your left, and they're rolling around in the mud under the sun, happy as can be. And as you're walking through, you notice a clearing. And on the clearing is a hay bale. And it's almost as if that hay bale was set up for you. And something is just calling you. Something inside of you is just calling you to go to that hay bale and have a seat. So as you do that, as you approach the hay bale, it's just calling you. It's so warm and inviting. So you take a seat on this hay bale. You feel your feet on the ground. You feel your seat on the hay. And you just kind of take in the scene. You see these animals kind of frolicking, and you notice them interacting with each other with such joy and such freedom. And something about this environment, the sun above you and the nice warm breeze against your skin, just invites you into a state of meditation. So as you allow your eyes to drop into a seated position on this bale of hay, just begin to breathe in. Breathe in this sense, and you start to hear these noises, animal sounds, and sounds of joyful, peaceful animals just living in harmony here in this strange place that you stumbled upon. You begin to feel inside your body and feel inside your heart. And you too feel a peace, almost as if this place is dropping you into a slight opening of your heart in a way that feels a little less guarded than normal. And as you're just sitting here listening to these sounds and feeling your body, you notice something surprising wet touch your cheek. And startled, you open your eyes just briefly, and looking right in your face is actually the face of a cow. It's a giant cow standing right there at your face, looking at you, having just nuzzled you with her nose. And in that moment, you actually meet eyes with that cat. And you notice her face is twice the size of yours, and her black and white fur is just shimmering in the sun. There's something about those eyes, and she's holding that gaze with you. And in that moment, as you look in these eyes, you see a gentleness. And you don't want to look away. You actually hold this eye gaze with this cow for a moment, and you see something in her eyes, almost a knowing, almost a kindred spirit, almost as if to say, he's saying, I see you. I see your pain. I see the suffering that you've experienced in your life. I see the desire that you have for being happy and being fulfilled. He seems to be wishing you well in this moment. And you can't help but notice as you continue to look in these eyes and feel so seen by this being that you've possibly never seen in this way before, that you too feel this feeling of kinship, almost as if to say, I see you as well. I see the pain you've experienced in your past. I have friends and maybe even babies disappear before your eyes. I see the suffering you've gone through, but I see the joy in your eyes. I see that you, like all of us, just long to be happy and safe and free. And something magical happens in this moment. You just feel your heart open, even a little larger, almost as if a friendship bond has just developed. And it doesn't feel, it feels surprising to you because you're not sure if you've ever been friends with a cow before. But there's something deep here in your soul. You feel a connection, a kindred spirit, a kindness that seems to permeate between these almost unbelievable set of friends. And in this moment, you just look around, having seen this cow just standing here beside you, not wanting to move, not wanting to be anywhere other than she is right now. And you begin to feel a wish for all of these animals here. And you begin to feel yourself included in this wish, almost as if to say, may we all be free of suffering, free of harm. May we all be at peace. May we all find joy and happiness. May we all be safe. And you reach out your hand and you just give a little rub to the cow's head. And she looks in your eyes one more time and turns to walk away back to her pasture. When you take a deep breath and bring this into your body, this experience you just had that was so unusual. And you see a person for the first time. A man walks into your frame of view, and he has a white beard and white hair, and he actually looks familiar. And he tells you, my name is William, and I have a message for you.
The concept of compassion is a fundamental tenet of all world religions and spiritual communities. But what does it mean to expand this concept to include other than human beings? I invite you to close your eyes and reflect with an open heart on the following statements, seeing how your heart responds to each one. When I can welcome a companion animal into my home, I adopt from a shelter. I say a prayer before driving, that I be aware of any animal trying to cross the road. No being suffered to provide the clothes I'll wear today. I joyously purchase cruelty-free body care and household cleaning products. I cried when Old Yeller, Bambi's mom, Mufasa, Charlotte, Sam, and Marley died. I catch insects in a cup and take them outside. I've tried to convince my landlord to replace the lethal mousetraps in the basement with humane traps. I find joy in seeking out replacements for products and packaging that harm animals or the earth when manufactured or discarded. When I look into the eyes of an animal companion, I sense this being's soul. I speak up when I see an animal being treated cruelly. I choose alternative entertainment options rather than zoos, circuses, rodeos, or marine animal parks. I am deeply saddened when I see images of animal abuse. I nourish myself with beautiful foods from the plant kingdom. I visit animal sanctuaries and feel a connection with these rescued ambassadors. I put food outside for birds and other animal neighbors. I show kindness, love, and forgiveness to my fellow humans too. I express kindness, love, and forgiveness to myself as I expand my circle of compassion. If several of these resonate with you and you hear yourself thinking, I do that, or I would like to do that, then you are expressing compassion in the way you live your life.
Thank you, William. I feel like William's been looking in my windows. Anybody else? Watching me carry the bugs out in a cup while my husband says, Sarah, what are you doing? Watching all of these things that we do, this compassion, and wondering how those settled in for all of you. And so now is that time when we get to chat with each other. Would anyone want to share? What does interspecies compassion look like for you? I want to put Daniel Redwood on the spot. Daniel, can I put you on the spot? If we could unmute Daniel Redwood for that beautiful song that he gave us, I'd like to hear a little bit more about what compassion looks like for you, Daniel.
Okay, I am unmuted. Well, a few hours ago, it looked like being at an animal sanctuary. This happens to have been our first, Beth's and my first time visiting a sanctuary in a full year. I mean, usually we go a number of times per month, and this hasn't been a usual year. So what does interspecies communication or compassion mean? It means looking an animal in the eye, one-to-one, taking in their beauty, their curiosity, their joy at being in nature, at eating the beautiful green grass that's growing here in Oregon this time of year. Well, I mean, that's a good start.
That's a great start, Daniel. Thank you so much. And thank you
Sure.
for your song. And thank you for reminding us to plant seeds. It is so that time. So we have two other hands that popped up. So we're going to take those two hands and then do some blessings and prayers. So I see Reverend Kathy J.
Hi. Yes, I'm Kathy, and this is Jude. She loves to be here when I meditate, which every morning a group of us meditate online, and she'll just pop up and meditate with us. That's part of it. Another part is taking my dog for walks. We go into the woods every morning, and God kind of speaks through my dog. There's always like a lesson, a spiritual lesson about being leashed or unleashed, or following your nose, or doing dog-like things versus human-like things. And then finally, I get an awful lot of messages through birds and a few animals, but mostly birds, and the eagles and the hawks especially. So my life has probably always been very grounded in nature, and I just seem to give and receive that love very, very easily.
Thank you, Kathy. It's not a Zoom event if there's not a cattail sticking up in the middle of the screen. I urge you all to also go into gallery view for a minute if you're not and see all these other species that have joined us. Barbara, do you want to share a little bit with us?
Sure. I love this. Thank you. Thank you very much. I live on a small farm in southern New Hampshire, and I have a lot of critters that have found their way here. And I find that they're my prayers answered. And if ever I thought that I was rescuing them, it's usually that they're rescuing me. And recently I was asking for some inspiration to help advertise my Reiki classes, and I just couldn't come up with anything. And then I got a call from somebody in a local farm. They have rabbits and they use rabbits for meat. And they said to me they had 2 male rabbits that they're Angoras, and they were just too big and too sweet and too kind to put into the stew pot. And would I take them? And I had just said to somebody recently, I am not taking any more birds. I have 15 chickens, ducks, goats. I mean, and of course I said, I'll just come look at them. And this huge gray rabbit just came and sat in my arms and snuggled up with his little white nose. And I asked if I could pick them up on Saturday. And on the way home, I realized that he was the answer to my prayers. He's the Reiki rabbit. You hold him and you feel drawn to give him Reiki as he gives you blessings and cuddles and hugs and all. It was a beautiful exchange. And I look forward. And somebody pointed out to me that actually this is Easter. Not that I didn't really know, but not in that context. And so I'm going to be receiving 2 rabbits on Saturday for Easter as their blessing day. Yeah.
I hope we see one of those Reiki rabbits over at the Compassion Consortium sometime.
Absolutely. I'm on it. Yeah. We're happy. And we're also happy if Bree wants to visit some girls. I have 15 beautiful chickens that would love to spend time with him.
The gathering has now become a matchmaking service. Thank you, Barbara, so much. So I want to thank you all sorry we couldn't get into to talk directly with each other, but I think it was beautiful to hear those stories, just snippets of all the stories that we have, all of us and our interactions with all of these different species. And so as we close tonight, we want to join together in an act of interspecies compassion, standing witness to the joys and the challenges that animals and humans face, because guess what? We're animals too. So we invite you to join us in what we call blessings and prayers. And in our monthly service, we're actually going to do this as a ritual, a longer ritual. But today we're going to just do a little brief version of this. And so, David, if I could get my fellow compatriots up on screen of Victoria and William, if he's not still wandering around the sanctuary, and Erica, if she's not still sitting on a hay bale, if we could get us up on screen. And as we're doing that, I want to say that the chat is so wide open for this right here. We're hoping that as we go through our prayers and our blessings, that they are for this entire group in this sanctuary that we invited us all into, and that you will put the names into the chat. If you've been in a One Spirit event before, you'll be used to how this goes. But just to put in any names that come up as we're doing this of other people or animals or any living being that you think fits whatever we're speaking about. We begin with blessings for the wild horse defender, Deb Haaland, the first ever Native American woman to hold the role of Interior Secretary. Blessings for Deb. And blessings for Major, the first rescue dog to live in the White House and whose media attention is helping raise awareness of the needs of canines. We invite you to insert the names of any humans or other than humans in the chat on whom you want to offer blessings for their joys. And as you do that, William will read some words for all of these beings.
We ask that these and all beings shall live a life filled with joy, a life filled with love, and a life free from violence and suffering. We ask that our divine force, by whatever name and form it manifests itself to us, helps us affirm the sanctity of all life and helps us recognize that all life is precious.
We also offer prayers for animals who are struggling, such as Happy the elephant in the Bronx Zoo and Chucho the spectacled bear in Colombia, and the many animals whose names we do not know who are suffering from exploitation around the world. We invite you to insert the names of any humans or other than humans in the chat for whom you would like to offer prayers of healing or liberation.
And we ask that these and all beings be free from suffering, be free from exploitation. May these and all beings be happy, peaceful, and at ease. And as we do it, one spirit, we say, Amen, Amen, Arf! And so it is.
And so it is. As we wrap up tonight, oh, who's here? Who's here? Who's here? Hold on, hold on, hold on. Don't go anywhere. I first have to thank Erica and William and Victoria for tonight. I also want to thank Bree and Camille. I want to thank Daniel Redwood for his beautiful song. I want to thank David for helping us with all of the tech stuff that makes this magic. To learn more about interspecies and transspecies spirituality, I want to invite you to join us at the Compassion Consortium. Come for the services the fourth Sunday of every month. Also, we've got Green Faith's Fletcher Harper coming on May 11th to talk about his amazing book. So we're going to throw in the chat the link for you all to go to and register. There's no cost for this, and we really hope to see you at some events. And I want to welcome, I don't know, whoever that was that just arrived to help us go out one spirit style with moving our bodies or something like that.
Hey, everybody. It's Reverend Darren, otherwise known as Kitty Sparkles, One Spirit's resident human or cat in human form. So I'm here to get you up and moving, to just tell you a little bit about dance and animals. You know, dance has been a part of the human experience for as long as we know. In 2018, a 2,000-year-old cave art was discovered in Borneo of humans dancing alongside different animals. So it has been around forever. And movements of animals intrigue us so much that through the years, we've actually created dances based on animals. Such gestures influenced the animal dances of ragtime early in the 1900s, and we haven't lost our fascination with them since. Some dances from that era and beyond include the grizzly bear, the crab step, the bunny hug, the chicken, funky chicken, chicken flip, chicken scratch, the horse trot, turkey trot, kangaroo hop, duck waddle, the squirrel, the pony, the monkey, the camel walk, and eagle rock. Dancing like an animal is a great way to honor and embody their energy. Not only is it fun to try on the movements of our fellow earth mates, but as with all types of ecstatic dance where you let go and allow yourself to be moved, there's an opportunity to tap into something greater than ourselves and to connect. What wisdom might dancing like a frog or a badger hold for you? Consider your favorite animal or your spirit animal and see what is revealed as you take on their dance. You can try it out every third Friday of the month from 7:30 to 8 by joining me and my fellow dancers at Experience Ecstatic Dance. The details are on the One Spirit website, but let's give it a try now. O, unless you think, oops, let me do something here. Unless you think I forgot to mention the foxtrot. Well, as I was researching it, I learned that the foxtrot wasn't actually named after a fox or its movements. But you have to wonder, what does the fox have to say?
Dog goes woof, cat goes meow, bird goes tweet, and mouse goes squeak. Cow goes
Let's move those bodies. Get inspired by your favorite animal.
Elephant goes toot, ducks say quack, and fish go blub, and the seal goes ow, ow, ow. But there's one sound that no one knows. What does the fox say? What the fox say? What the fox say? Happy, happy, happy ho. Happy, happy, happy ho. Happy, happy, happy ho. What the fox say? What the fox say? Big blue eyes, pointy nose, chasing mice and digging holes. Tiny paws up the hill. Suddenly you're standing still. Your fur is red, so beautiful, like an angel in disguise. But if you meet a friendly horse, will you communicate by more? How will you speak to that horse? What does the fox say? What the fox say? What the fox say? What the fox say? What does the fox say? The secret of the fox, ancient mystery, somewhere deep in the woods. I know you're hiding. What is your sound? Will we ever know? Will always be a mystery. What do you say? You're my guardian angel, hiding in the woods. What is your
Thanks, everybody. Come join us at Ecstatic Dance and for the Compassion Consortium. Good night.
Oh, good night, everyone. I noticed that I noticed Bree left before they knew what the fox said, and I think that's a good call. Thank you, everyone. We hope to see you at the Compassion Consortium. Thank you, David. Thank you, Darren, for that amazing moving of our bodies. Thank you, One Spirit community, for embracing interspecies spirituality. And you can unmute yourself now if you have more breath and can say something and would like to say hello.
I love seeing all of your animals. I'm currently animal-less for the first time in my adult life, so I'm living vicariously. Thank you.
Me too, Diane, me too.
This was so much fun, being such an animal lover. Really glad you guys are doing this.